come out extra early. It's around 7:30ish. I guess this is the last Sunday for the open streets. I see the barricades here. This is Sunday the 29th, and we have 30 days in September. It's a Hathaway month, that's what I call it. 30 days, half September. So on every Sunday in September, they rope off or barricade the streets so there's no cars. Usually there's at least some cars parked, although I see some cars parked all the way up by a TD Bank, but they're probably, here really quick and will leave. So it's blocked off to cars. Only pedestrians can walk what looks like a cross laid bare in front of Rittenhouse Square, all of Walnut from 15th to 19th, and then the cross would occur on 18th from Locust to Chestnut. And the fact that it's on Sundays, and one would say, well, Sundays are kind of a quiet day. Actually, there's a lot of car traffic on Sundays, just because on the weekends in the city, there's always stuff going on. On Saturdays, the farmers market brings in a lot of people, and even Sundays has a lot. People are either doing the, sort of, ride back home after, or the walk of shame after a night of debauchery on Saturday night. There's a lot of young folks in the city who go to, University of Pennsylvania, Temple University, Philadelphia University, Drexel University. So this is where the cross would be, and that's Locust. Of course, Locust is a biblical reference. And then it goes up to Chestnut, and we don't want to get into, how people go this way, how people read. These actually say whole. In case anyone was wondering, you don't want to step in there. But some people would actually literally read that out, like in a very literal, it almost seems immature, but people still read that way. And instead of seeing it as chestnut the nut, a natural occurrence on trees, they see it as chest and nut. So you have female and male. Some people might use it as their own secret, reference in a matrix of messaging that's supposed to be secret. So anyway, including those who decided, how to create this cross-like structure on these open streets. So that's how some see it. The first rendering or depiction or diagram of this cross of the streets was put out by like ABC or CBS or NBC, one of the three major affiliates, or unless it was Fox. I forget to include Fox. They're separate, it seems, from the original coup of network stations locally. But whoever put it out first showed the streets, with the line, but it was like a golden yellow, sort of like the yellow that you see on this font here of Open Streets West Walnut. I think it's also interesting that they chose the words West Walnut. They're thinking west of Broad. Whenever you see west, most people think of West Philly. So I think it's odd that they went with those words. Which way am I going? Okay. So anyway, Open Streets West Walnut, which is really just Open Streets Rittenhouse Square, or partial French Quarter. The section on 18th between Locust and Chestnut includes Rittenhouse Square restaurants between Locust and Walnut. So you have Park at Rittenhouse, Devon, and Rouge, and all the table, a lot of people sitting at tables right in the middle of the street of 18th Street, since it's blocked off between 10 and 5. And then the other section, which would be behind this building, I'm actually on 19th now as opposed to 18th. They have a lot of other places that are food related. I mean, Dandelions out there love, I don't know if they put tables in the street, but then there's the Bruno Brothers, which is right near Chestnut and 18th. They have Sue's Produce, and they have some, Mac Mart, which is like a place to get novelty mac and cheese dishes, I guess. Is Cleaver's still over there? There used to be a place called Cleaver's, but anyway, an interesting conglomeration. This is the Harper over here, James. There used to be Signature's Salon, or what was it? It's something along the line of Curl Salon used to be there. If you look at their addresses, it keeps flipping numbers, so it would be 1551, or that's not the exact number, but it's in the realm of always flipping numbers back and forth. There's something to that in Philly where flips are done all the time. It can seem like witchcraft, but anyway, the Harper is now the hub for the Pearl Properties headquarters. Their headquarters are on top of the Target, and included in, and Target is considered a Pearl Properties location. Like, they own this building as well as that building, and probably those, if I had to guess, maybe the whole block. But Kafar here is a cafe that's been here. It's a little quaint cafe. It's been here for a while, since like 2018 at least, like 2018-19. And Kafar means village in Hebrew. Thought that was interesting. Now this Kafar has a K apostrophe F-A-R. Kafar in Hebrew is just one word without an apostrophe. But it's interesting because there's this whole conflict that, you know, got started a year and a half ago. I don't even know how long now, villages were actually bombed as part of the, you know, instigation or the initiation, the provocation that's sort of kicked off this, you know, escalated situation. Right, and I read that the Hezbollah leader was supposedly killed. I feel like, didn't they get another leader? Was it Hamas before? I felt like I read that news before, so I'm confused as to how many leaders of how many different groups, you know, have been sort of killed or nabbed or whatever. So, as my mom used to say, they're always fighting in the Middle East. This is a biggie, and it's about a very biblical thing. It is, you know, for the Gaza Strip and the whatever you call it out there. But anyway, it's, you know, mostly over a piece of land, is it not? So the root of the argument is over land and who owns and has the right to what land, which stems back not only to World War II, but also to biblical times and stuff like that. Like, in a way, the original argument always comes up between who's right about what in terms of what went on in history. And therein lies a conflict that'll never end because, you know, whatever. So that all ties into, you know, the day of the locust, or what are the locusts that fell upon. I forget the story. And that's why the one stretch is Locust to Chestnut on 18th. So from the sky, an aerial view would show, reflect, depict, reveal a cross-like rendering of open streets. So anyway, sometimes I'm redundant and I'll say over and over, it is on Sundays, so I thought that was really interesting. September, of course, represents what? Fall. So gang stalkers will use fall all the time. The fall of man, the fall from grace. She wound up in a lesbian relationship. She fell from grace. You know,